real slow and real choppy so little AOC can understand just what I'm rapping. And if you need a little help, of course, we'll print out the lyrics for you too, AOC. We got you this time. Hey. Got Cortez in the streets, and she walking free. Got Omar up and by her side, and now they pushing B. Arms behind their back, but it's all for show. The cops came and they shutting down the game. They saying it's women's rights while the killing is off the chain. You think that they got arrested, then you ain't having the brain. Cortez always be capping, and Omar doing the same. Hey, they get off scot-free, but not the same for you and me. Even self-defense is losing all security. Just ask Kyle Rittenhouse or maybe Jose Alba. They getting dragged by the mob just because the outcome. With $1,000 watch and followers above 10 million. You think she'd be the last one to say she ain't make a killing? She free and rioters in 2020, let him ride. So now it's time we rid the bug eye like with pesticide. AOC capping in the city up and down. I ain't seen no cuff, she giving y'all the runaround. She said she fearing for her life on January 6th, but she couldn't feel the light cause she just like a Sith. AOC capping in the city left and right. Says she down for prime time, but I don't think she can fight. Always yelling and screaming like she ready to smite, but I'm just surfing the wave like I'm flying on a kite. She's outlandish with panic and everyone can see it. You ask her mind to run some laps, it lay there paraplegic. Those supplements that Alex Jones sells, yeah, she gonna need it. That book called Common Sense by Thomas Paine, she didn't read it. And even if she could read, her gerbil brain just wouldn't get it. She might as well have been a cracked up Hunter Biden kidding. You think I'm kidding? Let's get it, my whole team with it now. We top in church and you know we gotta believe it now. We take the culture and you know we are not leaving now. So you can doubt it or dig it, either way I'll keep going. I'll keep moving, cause you know we never slowing. In this movement, gotta get out for the children. No confusion, that unborn baby's not your choice. So no infusion, you ain't even getting cuffed. That's all collusion. AOC, let's cut the crap. You're out your mind. And if you need to pay your bail, there's Alex Stein. AOC capping in the city up and down.
My mom saved my life. My dad wanted to abort me. There would have been no Kanye West.
Okay, not your life, not your body, not your choice, ayy, ayy. Not your life, not your body, not your choice, ayy, ayy. That's a baby, that's a child, that's a voice, ayy, ayy. Not your choice, not your choice, not your choice, okay? I am not your choice, I promise you that if you wanna end me, you gon' have to pull up with a strap. I know you got that envy, nor them thinks that you can have a baby, then just end it quickly. But I know that baby got a soul. Do you got one though? You on TikTok thinking you a savage, but you really not. You on Snapchat showing off your body, thinking that you hot, but when you get that baby bump, you gon' look around all stumped, begging mommy for some help. Baby daddy ain't in sight. She'll just take you to the clinic, then the doctor gets the knife. If all abortions all just held, go why are we losing the life? And if the daddy wanna keep it, why don't he get to decide? That's your seed, your creation, your responsibility. And not your life, not your body, not your choice, ay, ay. Not your life, not your body, not your choice, ay, ay. That's a baby, that's a child, that's a voice, ay, ay. Not your choice, not your choice, not your choice, yeah. Not your life, not your body, not your choice, ay, ay. Not your life, not your body, not your choice, ay, ay. That's a baby, that's a child, that's a voice, ay, ay. Not your choice, not your choice, not your choice, okay? Matrix in my brain's up for the taking, but we don't do that. I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say the jab the only way to get your life back, but if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job, banned from playing segregation, all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again.
As we fly truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the line, but still I feel that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. My name is Chandler Krupp, and you're now tuned in with us here live on YouTube, Rumble, and a multitude of every platforms as we do every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8. This is our show, Crump Live, and I'm back here finally back home in Georgia. We went for a brief trip down in Tampa, Florida for the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit. I dropped a few hints here on the YouTube channel, but if you follow me on other social media, you already knew we were going to be here. If you guys can hear me, you guys can see me, let me know down in the chat below. We went through some changes here with my physical setup, and now I'm getting all sorts of different errors. So if you can hear me and see me, let me know. Obviously, we're still going to be settling back into the studio. Everything looks like a little bit crooked, which it's a shame, but we're going to get things nice and back. So if you guys can hear me, see me, all that good stuff, let me know. I see we got St. June in the building. Shout out to St. June, one of our glorious Hall of Heroes members, also a member of the
Ultra Mega.
So shout out to him in the chat. Also shout out to Roxanne Shantae and the charming Love Hound, as well as all of our folks over on Rumble. Let me see if I can pull up the Rumble stream real quick and make sure, for one, we're streaming on Rumble, and two, I can see some of your chat messages. Okay, cool. And then last but definitely not least, Getter. So shout out to my folks over on Getter as well. I'm always trying to make sure I can see y'all over here. Y'all good? All right, good. I can see y'all. All that good stuff. All right, we've got a ton of topics we're going to be jumping into today. It's going to be a fun one. Oh, what's going on Australia Day every day? Haven't seen you around here in a while. Nice to see you, man. How are things? What time is it in Australia? I like to always check that. Hold on. Time in Australia. You're on the. You said you were like on the west side, right? The earliest time in Australia is GMT 8, so it says it's 8:07 a.m. Is that about right, or is it a little earlier for you? Let me know, Australia Day. You're one of our 2 Australian correspondents for madness that's happening over there. But speaking of madness things, okay, yeah, he says 8 a.m. Let's go. That's right. Let's woohoo. Anyways, let's get started on the madness, shall we? Because this one is a good one. Now, Australia Day every day while you were asleep. I guess I'm going to get to break the news, but the American vice president, who I'm sure you barely care about, but Kamala Harris had to go out and proclaim to the world that she is indeed a woman. Sadly, the question a lot of us are asking is, well, what is a woman? You got to hear this and see this. First of all, she's wearing a mask. It's July 2022, and she is wearing a mask. I don't know what's going on anymore, folks. You got to hear this.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time.
The most pressing issues of our time. This is, lo and behold, Kamala Harris is stalling for time as she speaks. She's really trying to run up that air time and run up the words per sentence, saying pretty much the least she can with the most amount of words. It has been, 11 seconds of this. Here, let me move this thing so you guys can see. It has been 11 seconds we've been in this video, and she has said nothing yet. She has said nothing. We're halfway through the video. Video is 22 seconds long. We're 11 seconds in. We're halfway through. She said nothing. Let's hear this.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
What?
Why?
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Debuting the 2 new sounds in the soundboard here, basically off the rip, because this is just insane. What are we doing? 22 seconds wasted of our lives, all of our lives. You guys had to waste them too with me. If you want to waste your time, waste it with me. Man, holy. Let's see some of the comments. You edit out some other real important info, yada yada. Do we care what she's saying? 29 seconds. Extremists, so-called leaders in various states. Impact on people with disabilities. Yeah, she didn't say anything, dog. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. She said nothing. So people have been making all sorts of jokes about this, including, good old Ted Cruz. Roxanne Shantae says, why do we need to know the color of her suit? I guess that's what's important to her woman vice presidents, right? Well, Ted Cruz commented on this. Or he actually reposted this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't have it here on my list here. But if I could scroll through his feed, I want to show you what he said to this. He said, what is a woman? But what is a woman?
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
What?
Is a woman?
What?
Is a woman? Are we supposed to know? I don't know. Ted Cruz doesn't know. Ketanji Brown Jackson does not know. Well, I think we're gonna be very confused for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's just how it is. Freedom Music says I think she thinks she is a woman in blue. Maybe she's an alien. Maybe she's one of the Na'vi people from Pandora in the Avatar movies. What do you guys think about that? What do you think? Suzanne F, what's going on? She says hello. I mean, I think she says hello. Is Susan a female name, ladies? I mean, Susan. You tell me, is your name a female name? Are you a female? Are you a woman? What is a woman? Nobody knows anymore. Nobody knows. Adam says, I think that was a thing that Microsoft did in one of their videos for their employees. Yeah, that would make sense. All these woke big tech companies are really weird. And you know what? And Roxanne says she's not a biologist. So true. So very true. You know what, though? I think we should really talk a little bit more about big tech. Big tech seems to be responsible for this next thing I'm about to show you guys, which to say is it's not real. I mean, it looks like it isn't real. What I want you guys to do is count how many times Joe Biden blinks in the 17 seconds of film. Are you guys ready? This is posted by Benny Johnson. Obviously, I didn't notice this to come up with the idea, so shout out to him. You guys, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. Let's make sure we're not blasting ears.
You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop.
And don't worry about what he's saying. It's not relevant yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. But just watch his eyes, okay? I would play the Jeopardy theme music right here, but they would copyright strike me, so I'll just hum it. All right?
You can't be pro-insurrection
Maybe I won't hum it. They'll probably get me on that too. Just watch.
and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Donald Trump lacked the courage
I can't
to
even
act.
do it.
The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that. You can't
He is not blinking. I can't even. I mean, I could keep my eyes open if there wasn't a fan running in here. It's probably a little dusty in here too, so my eyes are suffering. But I don't know. It's probably a whole lot dustier in a 200 or so year old building like the White House, assuming this is the White House and not Joe Biden's basement, which was probably built not as long ago as the White House. But man, I don't know. 17 seconds, folks. Yeah. So people have been saying, yeah, this is CGI. This is an imposter. He borrowed some of that under. No, who did this?
on law enforcement.
Who did this? This is wrong. This appears to be from the same speech. That is so good, so fast too. This only came out like a couple hours ago, if even that. 7:39 p.m. was when this was tweeted. I think it's probably a little older than that. Gosh, that was so fast. That was so fast. Who did this? No, but seriously, people have been saying this is video photos, this is video edited, all that. His eyes look too close together. His forehead looks even bigger than it did before. He looks like he has even less hair, and then you can see the area of his head that's untanned because hair is usually there. We don't know what's going on. I don't know where I can find it, but there's like an image which is comparing Joe Biden from like yesterday to this video of Joe Biden today, and they look like two different people. We don't know who the president is anymore. I mean, let me see if I can find this. I don't know. People are saying too much Adderall and Botox to keep the eyes open. This is some madness. But anyways, let's focus a little bit more on what Joe Biden is actually saying now, shall we? Because this is the funny part. So he's saying you can't be pro-insurrection, pro-cop, yada yada, all that madness. This comes today as he is launching, or I should say his Justice Department is launching a brand new investigation into Trump's actions in the January 6th criminal probe. Yes, breaking news. The Justice Department is investigating Donald Trump's actions as part of its criminal probe efforts to overturn the 2020 election results, according to 4 people familiar with the matter. Prosecutors who are questioning witnesses before a grand jury have asked in recent days about conversations with Trump, his lawyers, and others in his inner circle who sought to substitute Trump allies for certified electors from some states Joe Biden supposedly won. The prosecutors have asked hours of detailed questions about meetings Trump led in December to January of 2020 and 21, respectively, his pressure campaign on Pence to overturn the election, and what instructions Trump gave his lawyers and advisors about fake electors. Well, obviously, we can't actually read the article because democracy dies in darkness, so you have to pay for it. Obviously, the Washington Post is a rag article, a rag publication, so I barely trust it. But what I do trust is that an organization and an administration like the Justice Department within the Biden administration will do whatever they can to come down upon each and every one of your rights, including your own president's rights. That would be Donald Trump. Now, obviously, we'll have to wait and see if the Justice Department issues any statements or if anything wild happens in regards to maybe charges filed. This could be big, or it could be absolutely nothing. But I think it's important to bring up and see how this develops, because this might be the time where we see the federal government officially crack down on the MAGA movement and on Trump. This is something we expected for a long time. We all knew, and we're worried about the possibility that the second Trump gets out of office, they start going after him. And now it looks like it took a little bit longer than a second. They need to maybe sort of hone their power, sharpen their blades, but they're going out for a very long night against Trump and a few other supporters. This could be bad. But that's more of the long term. Right now, we've got a quick short term thing to talk about in regards to The View. Let's just say they might be under some legal troubles very, very soon. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Thank you. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and welcome to the brand new one-of-a-kind commercial break. Here on the Chandler Crump channel, we pride ourselves on straight-talking nature, adherence to facts, resistance to media programming, and a loyalty to the red, white, and blue, above all. These live shows are what I consider to be my job, and I only get paid on tips around here. So if you think I've done a good job or want to encourage me to do even better, then check out the description of this video and go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler. This is our donation processor and the one-stop shop to support all things Chandler. If you choose to, you can even have your name appear on stream to flaunt that you support our show. This is of course the illustrious Hall of Heroes bar above me. Another path to the Hall of Heroes is of course Cash App. My Cash App code is $ChandlerCR and is visible on every one of my streams. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get back to the show. I do indeed want to give a huge shout out to our current Hall of Heroes members. I believe we have gotten a few since then, so I will be going back to check and update that. But in the meantime, in between time, before we go ahead and do that this time, just to use time 3 times, make that 4, or I guess 5. Anyways, The View might be under some legal trouble now because they said something they really should not have said. And by The View, I mean, their hosts. I guess technically the show can't say things on its own, but the show hosts can. And Whoopi Goldberg's ugly mug was behind all of it. Yesterday, The View and Whoopi Goldberg smeared and lied about TPUSA regarding an incident where supposed Nazis showed up outside of the Student Action Summit they had in Tampa just earlier this weekend. Let's give this a watch, shall we? And do be warned, you are about to hear some of the nastiest women in America.
Okay, so you have to read this thing.
Oh, I've got a legal note. The conservative group.
Sunny normally does this, but
I know.
Yes.
This is our knockoff lawyer.
Okay.
The conservative group, Turning Point USA, has condemned the group of neo-Nazis and said they have nothing to do with the organization.
Yeah, but where was DeSantis is what I want to know.
But you let them in.
President, open your
You
mouth.
let them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are complicit.
So, apparently they had slammed it originally, and I'm trying to figure out, maybe see where that's from. But this is them having to respond and say, okay, well, Turning Point kicked them out. But then Whoopi Goldberg just can't let it go. Cannot let it go. She's just like, in typical nature, she's just like, oh no, this is what's really going on. This is what's happening. So let's see what else she says.
Make a quick clarification about the neo.
I gotta make a quick clarification. Obviously, when they went to ad break, the producers walked up and said, "Whoopi, what are you doing? What
are we talking about?
You're gonna lose all of our jobs for us, and we're not worth millions like you probably are. No, we actually have to feed our families. We make a good salary from here on ABC with The View, and actually, honestly, a lot of these people probably don't have big families. Maybe one child, or honestly, to them, a fur baby. No, seriously, we aren't set like you are, Whoopi. We could be out of a job if they sue the network and they cancel our show because of you. I will have to find somewhere else to work, Whoopi. So here's what you're going to say. And they hand her a fat letter like this.
Neo-Nazis at the Turning Point event. They were outside protesters. My point was more metaphorical, that you embraced them at your thing, I felt. So they were not in the building.
They felt
No, but you know what?
invited.
You know what? If the so-called Antifa, who are anti-fascist, that's what Antifa stands for, would go there and protest, then Antifa would get a bad reputation. That's why when I hear that Antifa is
Right, but that's not. But let me just make sure.
I don't even want to play this anymore because I've been struck by them before. The longer you play them, the longer they're gonna just attack you and then try to take the ad revenue from your stream. Despite the fact I'm demonetized. I don't get anything from these streams other than my gracious donors, of which I've just updated right above us here. That's one of them. We received another one as well, but I'm gonna have to list that one later. But shout out to Anita J and Zora B, of course, who are longtime supporters of the channel before. So shout out and big thank you to them. I'll be listing Anita's later on tonight or maybe tomorrow. But let me read a few chat messages as we continue on tearing down The View because, man, they gotta suffer. They gotta cope. Let's see. Australia Day says they are all over the top. Rebecca says, Chandler, why are you making us listen to these cackling witches? I put a stop to it, Rebecca. I put a stop to it. I've realized the error of my ways, and I'm like, you know what? Why even bother doing this? Rebecca says, hating Jews isn't racism, according to Whoopi. Yeah, she got in trouble with that earlier this year in February, which is crazy. Rebecca also said, Chandler, who do you think is fatter, Whoopi or Big Stacy? I don't know. That is a
It's no use.
I'm not gonna be able to answer that one. I gotta give up. I gotta give up.
Yep.
There's no right answer, folks. It's like trying to compare Jupiter to Saturn, which of course you do know which one is bigger, but in the scheme of things, if you're standing next to either one of them, you're going to be stripped to shreds by the planet's gravitational pulse. That's how strong it is. You're gonna fall down into the planet almost like a black hole. So either one's gonna murder you just off its gravitational pull alone. So does it really matter if it's between Big Stacy or Whoopi Whipped Cream? I don't think it does. I don't think so. Australia Today also says Trump 2024. Well, they're both planets. Exactly. See, I think you get it. No, but let's see here. After a group of Antifa and left-wing protesters showed up, predictably, to protest our event, they eventually dispersed. Then minutes later, these Nazis appeared. Who are these people? We have no idea, and apparently ABC and other news media aren't curious enough to find out. Well, let's see this, shall we?
Stand up, fight back!
Okay.
Stand up, fight back!
Guys, it's
You should kill yourself.
I should kill myself? Why? Why? Why should I kill myself?
That's so funny. That is so funny. Let's see some more videos. This is some madness, folks. These are the people that are showing up to protest Turning Point events. Meanwhile, the view is like, this is who Turning Point is. They're obviously Nazis. This is a joke. This is a lie. So yes, they did indeed issue a cease and desist to ABC News over defamatory statements on The View. Exclusive, TPUSA has issued a scathing cease and desist to ABC on Tuesday, calling for the Disney-owned company to retract the defamatory statements made earlier this week on The View. The false statements of fact intentionally made during The View's July 25th segment were unquestionably harmful to TPUSA's reputation and brought the organization and its student affiliates into disrepute with the public, potential donors, and current and future business partners, posing a significant financial loss to the organization. Fox Digital has obtained these letters addressed to ABC News, New York Bureau Chief Joshua Hoyos, and ABC Assistant Chief Ian Rosenberg, which accuses The View of making false, derogatory, and defamatory statements. ABC did not respond immediately for comment. On Monday, the daytime Gabfest kicked off its program discussing the Student Action Summit that occurred last week in Tampa, Florida. The View co-hosts mocked the elaborate event for taking a page from the WWE simply because of special effects, and accurately portrayed the group as being officially tied to the GOP, and Joy Behar criticized the group because neo-Nazi protesters were outside the venue. Neo-Nazis were out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs and, the Nazi swastika and a picture of a so-called Jewish person with exaggerated features, just like Goebbels did during the Third Reich. It's the same thing, right out of that same playbook, Behar said. She then said that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis did nothing but failed to mention the Republican governor attended the event the day before the neo-Nazis appeared. Later on the program, The View read an on-air legal disclaimer to inform viewers that TPUSA condemned the neo-Nazi protesters who had nothing to do with the organization. But you let them in, and you knew who they were, Whoopi Goldberg inaccurately said before the panelists were forced to read yet another disclaimer so that they could
Stop the cap.
and explain the neo-Nazis were outside protesters and TPUSA did not in fact let them in. My point was metaphorical, Whoopi Goldberg said. Once again,
Stop the cap.
and while you're at it,
Rub my leg down.
because that's what we tell liars to do. There's no such thing as metaphorical truth. There is the truth, and then there is the lie. Now, you may call the lie your truth, and maybe if it is the truth, you can call the truth my truth. But the fact of the matter is, there is a truth, and there is a lie. The lie is that Turning Point USA invited these neo-Nazi protesters into their event so that they could gallivant around and declare their racist ideology. The truth is that these people protested on public property on a sidewalk in front of the conference, were denied entry and asked to leave by security, which were then declined because, well, they're on public property and you can't ask people to leave public property unless they're breaking a law. All these people were doing were waving flags and saying words. That's the most they did. That's why none of them were arrested, and that's why none of them were taken away. That is the truth. Now, what Goldberg is saying is, well, even though I may have been telling a lie, it was metaphorical, so therefore, I could say whatever I want. And while, yes, from the government's perspective, you can. But that also means if you slander their name on a widespread scale like this, like Goldberg did with her massive The View platform, Turning Point USA also has the right to send a cease and desist letter to you. And if you, being a contractor / employee of the network, continue to defame and issue derogatory statements about their organization, have more than the right to sue for defamation. More than the right to sue for whatever damages they view necessary, which is why the words #SueTheView are now trending on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. This is insane. #SueTheView is number 12, and it might even be higher. Let's see if we can find it here. #SueTheView, and they're suppressing it, obviously. It was number 10 at some point. The words The View were at number 6, because anytime they can form it into something else, they'll do it like that. But man, this is what they do. So let me see if I can find it on the trending tab myself. All right, we got Montgomery, and there it is. #SueTheView is at number 3. Let's see how long this lasts, but let's also look at some of the tweets within it. Shout out to Joker Ace over on Rumble. He said, I can almost believe The View is the original drag queen story hour. Yep. That one's fire right there, Joker Ace. That one is fire. We got any comments over on our Gitter? We might. Let me see if I can refresh and see any here. Shout out to my folks over on Gitter as well. I appreciate y'all tuning in live. Yeah, there we go. And my folks on YouTube too. We're at 31 likes. Let's get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get those likes up. And also, if you want to support the show, all those options are available in the description below. Donor Bucks and Cash App. My Cash App code is right above me. Shout out to Olivia, who donated on our Cash App last time we were live was it Wednesday or Thursday? I'm losing track, but I know we were live just last week. So shout out to Olivia for that donation. But let's jump into this. #SueTheView. There's obviously talking a little bit about that Turning Point USA and some of the videos. #SueTheView trended. Jack Posobiec tweeted it. Carrie Lake has reposted this. Whoopi Goldberg and her loonies on The View disparaged TPUSA, comparing young conservative activists to Nazis. Carrie Lake was actually at the Turning Point event last December in Arizona, which was very, very cool. I believe I don't know if I met her, but I did see her walk past, so that was really cool. I like my good old gubernatorial candidates. Remember when Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from The View for defending Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust? Watch the clip below. Ironic now that now Whoopi is under threat of legal action from Turning Point USA for defaming 5,000 minors as Nazis. Holy crap, really? Did she call the Turning Point the people Nazis? There's no way. That cannot be true. Whoopi Goldberg says Jill Biden should become Surgeon General. She's an amazing doctor. Yeah, I just had to let that one simmer for a good second. I really did. It's obvious to anybody that Whoopi Goldberg should keep her mouth shut. Yeah, she needs to stop letting words out and maybe let a little bit less food in. If we're being real here, come on, guys, you gotta believe me. TPUSA needs to sue The View into bankruptcy. Pass it on. Well, if someone would finally sue The View, maybe they would learn to tell the truth. Big yikes, the clarification need to be clarified. It was so sad. She cannot control herself. These people cannot. Which is the exact same reason that Kyle Rittenhouse is suing these networks, suing and pursuing legal options against plenty of these places, and it's only going to get better and better. It's why Nick Sandman was suing a good amount of these as well, and is actually winning cases. I think he's already got something like 100 million in the bank, just waiting for him. What was it? Hold on. Let me just reconfirm. Nick Sandman wins. Let me see if Nick Sandman settlement. Was the settlement? It was the settlement against NBC, and did a dollar amount come out? Well, either way, said the NBC unleashed its vast corporate wealth and influence and power against Nicholas to falsely attack him, despite the fact that he was a 16-year-old high school student. Several lawsuits are still ongoing. I don't think there's a dollar amount in here, or if there is, I haven't taken a look at him. Rebecca says CNN also settled with him, which is just fantastic. These two young men are going to be doing very well for themselves, and I hope Turning Point USA, if The View keeps on doing what they're doing, moves a little bit past just a cease and desist letter. But speaking of people that should be sued into oblivion for some of their actions, we need to change courses just a little bit. We've been talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and Nick Sandman, both young men who have done amazing things for themselves and have gone after these mass media sources. Both of them have been featured on a few songs as well. They've gotten some great shout-outs. And while we transition over to culture, you guys obviously know I make music. I actually just released the song AOC Cappin', which you guys heard at the beginning of the show. You can find all of that and buy the song right now over on iTunes. If you go to the link I'm dropping in the chat below, it's just link to AOC Cappin'. You can use that link right there. But also, there is a whole lot more than music in our scene. Let me get this link. There you go. AOC capping. That should work now. Okay, there. All right, that will take you there. But now we need to move on past just the music. Obviously, you guys know the Rippaverse, which is a major new comic releasing now from Eric July, has ran into a little bit of trouble. Obviously, not because of themselves. They've been making millions, and yes, I mean millions of dollars. It is crazy. But now, some of that money is being held up by PayPal. For those that paid with PayPal for the Rippaverse items, they are not giving me access to that money. Despite allowing massive corporate entities access to money for pre-orders, we are not rewarded with such a luxury. Thankfully, the money I invested already pays for the products, so I don't need it to get those items to you. However, just so you know, I cannot touch it until the items go out and then speak to another group of idiots over there. PayPal has your money. Don't put in a dispute, they then shift the blame to the US. But you may want to tell them if you're unhappy with this. And if you're a small business, I'd recommend not using PayPal as a pre-order if you needed access to the money to get items to your customers. Those of you that pay directly with your card, there all is good. We have access to those funds without any issue. This only applies to people that use PayPal, an option I only use because it was requested by others, especially international folks. And there's a full video about this here which you can check out on his channel. But this is big. Now, I don't know if there's any evidence to suggest this is purely because of who Eric July is and what his network is doing specifically, but what it does show you is that these companies think they can just control whatever they want and take the power. And whether it's for pre-orders or whatever it is, I don't like it. Other massive corporate entities were given access to their pre-orders, and with the money that Eric July is making, which obviously it's not all through PayPal, but it has to be at least upwards of $1 million or around $1 million just from PayPal alone, not counting the direct credit card payments and other ways of which people may have been able to pay. This isn't a joke anymore. This isn't just some small business. Eric July is creating something massive. It's the top of his bio, owner of the Rippaverse. You get a verified account. It's his biggest thing he's pushing right now. And it is so important and so powerful for the culture. So you can see how these entities are doing everything they can to fight back against it. And it's disgusting. So if you want to support Eric July and his efforts, definitely make sure you check out that video. And if you are one of the people who actually bought some of his stuff through the Rippaverse and you used PayPal, I definitely would ask you to do what he suggested and make mention to them of how unhappy you are with this turn of events. I wanted to touch on that real quickly before we move on back to some more hilarious topics because, oof, this next one is really, really funny. In fact, these last few topics are all just really hilarious topics. I like bringing things full circle back around to the beginning. So obviously you guys know Kamala Harris is indeed a girl. But did you also know that if you have some Filipino blood, you're not Filipino or Filipina. No, you're Filipinx. Yes. This is a real thing. Yeah, so if you're Latino, Latina, you're not either of those anymore. You're Latinx or Latinx, or as some people say, Latinx. I especially don't like that last one. I can sort of work with Latinx, but it's difficult to say with the accent because it's not actually Spanish. So it's Latinx is the best way to say it in English, just like Latin and Latin. Well, you don't say Latina, you say Latina, but that's just because it's the easiest way to say it. But I'm sure it doesn't work in what's the language that Filipino people speak as well. I think it is Tagalog. That's what it is. I don't think you could say Filipinx in Tagalog. I don't think you can. So the Filipinx Voices in Pop Culture was a fun and educational all Filipinx panel discussing. This is a joke, guys. This is a joke. They used it 3 times. You know they're trying to make this a thing. Discussing Filipinx influences behind your favorite media. Photo credits to Edward S. And obviously this is a full Filipino panel of Filipino people with 2 Filipinas, 5 Filipino people, 4 Filipino men, all of it. That's just how it works. People are complaining about this, but actually worse than Latinx. So Kongman Lee says, please stop trying to impose weird Western gender ideology onto people who never wanted it or asked for it in the first place. He's going to talk about that. Sour Patch Kids says, literally everyone is laughing at you. Stop. Obviously, a lot of big names are going to talk about this, but your average person is going to say something too. Delete this tweet. What a joke. Or Nuance Bro isn't average. He's a an influencer as well. Mel Lopez, or Stiction Hammer is also a pretty big figure. Obviously, these tweets are going to be listed higher than most others, but as you can see, this tweet got absolutely ratioed. 2,600 quote tweets just in reaction to 139 likes. Let's see how many comments they got on this. I am so curious. Are you guys ready? Can I get a drum roll, please? Let me see if I can find that. Once I find it, how far down was it? When was this posted? This was posted today, right? July 21st. Okay. I'm gonna take it off the screen while I find it for you guys here. And oh gosh, okay. I think I just got down to it. July 21st. Oh, they post so many tweets. I'm so curious for you guys to see this. This is gonna be great. I wonder how many comments they got. Instead of people. Oh man, that is bad. Are you guys ready? The drum roll's actually gonna mean something this time. Ready? Drum roll, please. 1,600 comments. 2,800 quote tweets now, or 2,800 retweets in total, but a retweet counts as a quote tweet, and that's at 2697, and just 1,000 likes. They're getting brutalized on Twitter right now, and this is only actually becoming popular on Twitter right now. People are only talking about this now, and it was actually trending throughout the day as well. Let me see if I can find it on the trending tab, because I know it was trending in the For You tab, but I wonder if it's still on the actual tab itself, because people have been talking about this since, I think, about this morning. Because, you know, this is a thing that's been floating out there for a while, but nobody said anything really until now, because people were like, wait, hold up, Filipinx? What
are we talking about?
What is that?
Go, you know the thing.
Nobody knows what Filipinx is, and those that do know that it is all sorts of madness. It's stupid. It is stupid. The way that they are, like Kongman said, trying to impose their dumb ideology on places of the world where not only do they not want it, but they've tried to do this in the Middle East. People that adhere to it might unfortunately be killed because of it. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. These people don't understand. And you guys, I gotta make it even funnier for you guys. These are the same people that push this type of stuff, that are all like, we can't be colonialists. America has a terrible history of colonialism and forcing its culture on people that don't want it and forcing democracy. And now they turn around and say, but if you're in the Philippines, you aren't Filipino, you're Filipinx, because we gotta allow transgender, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 76 genders to be who they are. When that's just not how culture in the Philippines works. It's not how culture here in America worked even 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Count it up. It wasn't a thing. It was not a thing. But hey, let's focus our eyes a little bit closer to home now, shall we? This one was funny. I saw it just a couple days ago and I had to repost it. This is what Matt Gaetz thinks about your average pro-abortion person in America today. Now, Matt Gaetz has been in the news for a while these last few months, and he's been absolutely slandered in the media for stuff that we're still waiting to see how it comes out, but I think we at least deserve a good laugh from him every now and then.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
Yep.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Mm-hmm. Is it safe to
be offended? This is a real energy. This is a real interview. It's real energy too, from a real sitting congressman, Matt Gaetz. It's slipping my mind which state he's from. Somebody in the chat, real quick, pop quiz. Somebody in the chat, what state is Matt Gaetz representing? But man, this is a real sitting congressman with real committee ties. He votes on stuff. He's involved in all that. He gives speeches about politics. And he says this.
Say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
One more time with the laugh track. That's what I love to see. Do I have another laugh track? I think I need to get another one just to really rub it in. I'm still waiting for somebody in the chat to give us the pop quiz answer. The first person who answers it gets a cookie for which state Representative Matt Gaetz is from. Roxanne Shante says Florida. Is that true? Is Matt Gaetz from Florida? Yes, I think he is. I remember he's from the West Palm Beach area. He is from Florida's first not West Palm Beach, the Panama City Beach area. The first congressional district since 2017. That's Matt Gaetz. Roxanne Shante wins the cookie of the day. But yeah, Freedom Music says don't be a baby killer.
Yep.
I agree with that one, because baby killers are fat and ugly.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
And they deserve to be offended. That is the representative from Florida's first congressional district, Matt Gaetz, saying that yes, indeed, if you are a pro-abortion provocateur, you are probably fat and ugly. and are not happy with yourself, and probably will never be happy for yourself in a very, very long time. We've got a few quick messages before we wrap up our show today with our last couple of stories, so stick around and don't go far. We'll be right back. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here. Got a reason to celebrate coming up? Birthday? Anniversary? Election? Then why not recruit the help of your favorite content creator, commentator, and musician to celebrate? Well, now you can, with Cameo. Whether it be for yourself, your spouse, maybe that liberal son or daughter of yours, it doesn't matter. You can recruit my services to wish you a happy birthday, make you a funny political joke, send you a heartfelt message, and all around try to make you smile. For a small flat price on the Cameo app, you can recruit me to do all of this and more. It of course helps support me and the channel, so it's going to a great cause, and you get something even greater out of it. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to Cameo.com or download the Cameo app on the Apple or Google App Store and create an account today. Then, once you're all set, just search my name, Chandler Crump, and from there, enter what you want me to say and who the special message is for, and you'll receive it within a couple of days. Now, let's get back to the show. Want to give a huge shout out to the people that have already registered for us over on Cameo and have requested their very own videos. Some of those videos have even been published, so do a little bit of looking and get a good idea of what you're looking for over on our Cameo today. But now let's check in for the next topic. You guys obviously know that we need to be standing with Ukraine. Put the Ukraine flag in your bio. Your pronouns aren't she, her, he, him, they, them, fae self, tree self, fairy, whatever anymore. They are actually Zelin/Ski. And here you can see Zelin/Ski posing for photos with Vogue, because that's what a leader is supposed to do during a war. Pose for photos with Vogue. Wartime Vogue photo shoots. Very serious. Let's keep sending Ukraine weekly billion-dollar aid packages to protect democracy, and don't you dare question it unless you want to.
Rub my leg down.
And declare to the world that you are indeed...
And you ain't black.
Seriously, guys. We have sent, what is it, like $60 billion to Ukraine, if my math is adding up? I'm sorry, it's just aid package, aid package, aid package, aid package, weapons, 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 weapons. Constantly. I can't keep track. I can't keep track. But when we were asking for $5 billion to defend our own border, the Democrats said, no. No. That's racist. You can't do that. That's xenophobic. When we wanted to shut down travel between China and America at the beginning of the pandemic, Joe Biden said, that's xenophobic. But apparently it's not xenophobic to send money to a country so that they can kill people from another country and defend their borders. Defend their borders. Wait. Okay, hold on. 60 billion or so, it might be less, it might be more, for Ukraine's border, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is maybe even half the size of the United States-Mexico border. It might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, but it is not nearly the same size. And it's a big, it's a big border. The majority of their border, I believe, is shared between them and Russia. And then there's like an ocean. I might even pull up some Google Maps just for some rich text you guys can see. Let me do this real quick. I gotta be careful with it, but let me do this just for a good laugh, so we know what we're talking about. Let's see here. Okay, so here's Ukraine. Let me make sure nothing's all right. So here's Ukraine. They've got Kharkov and Kiev, their capital, and there's a big city right there. In their border, that's all of their border with Russia, and then they have a little bit of border with Georgia. This is the country. They've got one with Moldova, Romania. Looks like a little bit of Slovakia, Hungary, Belarus, Poland. Okay, so it's a big central country. It's got a lot of borders, probably some of the most borders in Eastern Europe. That's a pretty big border with Russia. Pretty big right there. I don't know if I could count up the miles right there, but I'd estimate maybe 400 or 500 miles of border, probably even more. My math is never good. My math is never good. But now let's just compare real quick. Just real quick, so you guys can really get the message here. This is the United States and Mexico border. Now, Mexico is by no means the biggest country in the world, although I'm sure it's at least in the top 15 or 20. Definitely much larger than Ukraine. This border is massive. In fact, I think just Texas alone, which I think Texas is roughly larger or around the same size as Ukraine, probably larger. I think it's larger than a good amount of countries in the world. This border is very long just with Texas and Mexico, not to mention New Mexico, Arizona, and Los Angeles. Or sorry, California is the big Los Angeles thing right there. It's bigger than the words of California. But that is a big space right there. So you would think if our leaders were so rational with the money and cared so much about America while also still caring at least a little bit about allies abroad, which can only be said with a slight little asterisk, because what has Ukraine ever done for us, right? You would think, okay, well, let's give $60 billion to our border and then send $5 billion to Ukraine so they can defend their border and maybe kill a little Russians, since I guess that's what we care about right now, huh? But no, logic be danged, throw it out the window, throw it in a toaster with a bath, kill the logic, send $60 billion to Ukraine, send rockets, send guns, send helicopters, send billions and billions of dollars, which totally won't get smuggled right back out of the country by the wives of their corrupt leaders, strapped to their bodies and inside of suitcases. Yes, that happened. What was it? Millions of dollars being smuggled out of the country by one of their corrupt leaders, various mistresses, or maybe it was a wife if she's lucky. Right out of the country, found, what was it? What was in Romania, I believe? It was Romania where she was found. You guys can look up that story, learn a little bit more of what I'm talking about. That's what our leaders want to do with our money. Meanwhile, people are smuggling up themselves through the border. They are taking jobs, which isn't the biggest concern, because they are also killing people and attacking women. Now, of course, people are going to say, Chandler, that sounds so racist, and you're so wrong. They called Trump the same thing in 2015, but he had the facts to back him up. And unfortunately, I also have the facts to back me up. So you can call me racist and xenophobic all you want, but I can do the same thing with what is happening with Ukraine and what Biden did with his own China travel ban as the pandemic got worse in 2021. You can throw whatever words you want. None of them are going to apply. So I wanted to cover that real quick. This is not the first time Zelensky has done a Vogue photo shoot. I think there's at least 4 others. But what I do have to show you is this. Come on. Grand old memes. One of the best meme creators, if not the best on Twitter, made this. Now, I don't have much of a reference for who the original image comes from. I think it was some sort of MMA fighter or something who made a lot of money after a fight and decided to turn it all into cash and stack it on the table and on the floor. But man, this is... They put Zelensky and whoever this lady is who looks a whole lot like his sister on the image there because they made a whole lot of money. Time to bring me my money, says Zelensky. Goodness gracious. Come on. Talk to me, guys. What are we saying in the chat? Alaskan Dream says, end the drought by having illegals bring a cup of water with them. There you go. Freedom Music says, I see a lot of sleepy people with nice houses and no American flags, but a Ukraine flag and logos saying, I stand with Ukraine. I'm like, sell your house and go stand with them. So true. So true. Bravura Throat Puncher says, I'm part Filipino. We don't say Filipinx. So true. We don't say Filipinx. You're either Filipino or Filipina. Stupid white liberals. I have a song all about this. I might even have to turn it on. It's not exactly about Filipino, but it says, No me llame Latinx, soy Latino. Which in Spanish means, don't call me Latinx, I'm Latino. And it says a few other things off the top of my head I can't remember. But it's a whole track, and it just tears apart the whole ideology. If I can find my CD around here, I don't think I have it on me, but it's on my album Dark Winter, which you guys can also check out on all streaming services. Just look it up and listen to the song Latinx. It tells everything. Basically, if you want to swap the words Latinx with Filipinx, you can do it. You can do it. I'm not Filipino in any parts, insofar as I know. If I am, my parents will have to tell me that. But yeah, I am Latino though, and I can tell you all about that. And I can tell you that that's not what we're going for. That's not. So Filipinx, Latinx, it's all cap. It is all cap. And you know what we say to cap?
Stop the cap.
That's what we say. St. Jude Zelensky and his girlfriend bought. That's a good one. Nancy says, no, you are not wrong. Unfortunately, innocent people are dying in the midst of this corruption. Meanwhile, they're making a whole lot of money. And you know what? Hey, while we're on the subject of Latinx and Latino and Latina, I have to cover something really hilarious for you guys. I was debating whether or not to cover this, but I think 2022 is a drag. I'd probably catch a bag if I didn't post this on my show. Man, it is funny. It is funny. You guys know last week or so, Alex Stein ran up on AOC and complimented her figure and said she was beautiful. So a certain Arizona Republican candidate named Josh Barnett has reenacted this with what I believe to be his wife or girlfriend or partner of sorts, who he was shopping with at a Walmart self-checkout. This video will make you laugh. Now, obviously, Patriot Takes posted this as like, look at this racist, MAGA, sexist. Now, I don't know about y'all, but, I mean, of course, it can be, you know, a little rude, but I think it's a whole lot more respectful than calling them a taco, at least. Check this out.
Look, Bentley, it's my favorite big booty Latina. Bentley, look. Look, it's my favorite big booty Latina. Look how sexy she looks in those jeans.
I hope you guys have enjoyed the show as much as I have, because that was funny right there. So shout out to Josh Barnett, who is running for the Arizona 1st Congressional District, if I'm correct. Let me do a quick check. I looked this up earlier, but I do want to confirm. Josh Barnett, he's running for the 1st. Yep, so he's running for the 1st Congressional District. You can follow him on Twitter here. I don't know too much about him. I'm definitely going to check him out after all this, though, because people have been talking like crazy. And honestly, I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Either way, thank you guys so much for being tuned into the show today. As you guys know, we do the show every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8, as well as on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4. That's the Chandler Brief, which is a strictly news show with as little injections of little jokes like that as possible, although I try my best. I do try my best. Either way, all of that is available right here on YouTube. But of course, as you guys know, YouTube is a foul mistress. So if you guys want to never miss out on anything we've got going on here on all of my content, make sure you subscribe to us over on Rumble just by going to rumble.com/user/Chandler_Crump, or just looking up my name over on the Rumble app. It is available on all Apple app stores as well as the Google App Store. It is also on Apple TV, Roku, and even a few smart TV platforms. So you can check it out just by looking up Rumble on your app store and then making your account and following me under the name Chandler_Crump. Aside from all that, though, I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Chandler Brief, and I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace.
Into the